You've seen this image 1,000 times. Saturn, calm, golden, wrapped in rings like it's been wearing them forever. It hasn't. Those rings are younger than Earth's dinosaurs went extinct. They're disappearing right now, raining down into the planet at thousands of kilograms per second. And in 2025, for a few months, they vanished from view completely, and almost nobody noticed why. We treat Saturn's rings like scenery, a pretty backdrop. But the more we've studied them, the more it's become clear. They're not decoration. They're a crime scene, a countdown clock, and a warning sign, all at once. Here's the assumption almost everyone makes. Saturn formed 4.5 billion years ago, and the rings came with it. A package deal. Planet and jewelry, born together. That's wrong. Multiple lines of evidence, confirmed in detail by NASA's Cassini spacecraft before it dove into Saturn in 2017, point to the rings being shockingly young. Not billions of years old, roughly 400 million years old. To put that in perspective, when Saturn's rings formed, the most advanced life on Earth was fish. Dinosaurs hadn't evolved yet. The continents weren't even arranged the way they are now. So if the rings aren't original equipment, where did they come from? The leading explanation is genuinely unsettling. Something died to make them. A moon or a comet wandered too close to Saturn and was torn apart by gravity, shredded into ice and rock, smeared into the orbit we now find so beautiful. You're not looking at jewelry. You're looking at a debris field. Here's where it gets stranger. The rings aren't just young. They're actively dying, and we can measure the death rate. Scientists call it ring rain. Saturn's gravity and magnetic field are constantly pulling charged ice particles out of the rings and dragging them down into the planet's atmosphere, where they burn up, essentially raining ice into Saturn at a rate of up to 10,000 kilograms per second. That's not a typo. Every second, enough ice to fill a swimming pool is falling out of the rings and disappearing into the planet. At that rate, researchers estimate the rings have somewhere between 100 million and 300 million years left before they're gone completely. Here's the part that should actually unsettle you. In cosmic terms, that's soon. Saturn is 4.5 billion years old. The rings will only have existed for a tiny fleeting sliver of the planet's life, a few hundred million years out of billions. We're not looking at a permanent feature of the solar system. We're looking at a temporary one. And we happen to be alive during the brief window when it's visible. In March 2025, something happened that made headlines for the wrong reasons. Saturn's rings appeared to vanish from view entirely, visible only as a thin line through even powerful telescopes. Plenty of coverage at the time made it sound apocalyptic. It wasn't. This is called a ring plane crossing, and it happens roughly every 13 to 15 years as part of Saturn's normal orbital tilt. The rings turn edge-on to Earth, and because they're only about 30 feet thick, despite being tens of thousands of miles wide, they become essentially invisible from our distance. Imagine a sheet of paper, viewed dead-on from across a football field. That's the scale we're dealing with, something hundreds of thousands of kilometers wide, thin enough to disappear when angled correctly. But here's the detail that gets buried. Ring plane crossings aren't just a visual trick. They're one of the only times astronomers can spot Saturn's smaller, dimmer moons. At least 13 moons in recorded history have been discovered specifically because the glare of the rings briefly disappeared. Which raises an uncomfortable question. What else is hiding in that glare, right now, that we simply haven't caught yet? We talk about the rings like they're one object. They're not. Saturn's ring system is made of 7 distinct rings, named alphabetically in the order they were discovered, not the order they appear from the planet, which is its own small mess of confusion for anyone trying to learn the system. The particles inside range from grains of dust smaller than a sand grain to chunks of ice the size of a house, all orbiting independently, all colliding, grinding, and reshaping the rings constantly. This isn't a static structure. It's a slow-motion demolition derby that's been running for hundreds of millions of years. And one ring in particular stands out. The E ring, the faintest and most spread out of the bunch, wasn't discovered until astronomers caught it during a ring plane crossing in 1966. It's not made of ancient debris like the others. It's actively being fed, fresh material sprayed into orbit by ice geysers erupting from Saturn's moon Enceladus. That means part of Saturn's ring system isn't a relic at all. It's being actively manufactured right now by a moon with a hidden ocean underneath its icy crust. A moon that, on its own, is one of the best candidates for alien life in the entire solar system. The rings aren't just debris from the past. Part of them is being built in real time, by a world we still don't fully understand. So here's where all of this lands. Saturn's rings aren't ancient. They're younger than Earth's continents in their current shape. They're not stable. They're actively raining into the planet at a rate that will erase them within a few 100 million years. They're not even fully formed. Part of the system is still being built, fed by ice erupting from a moon that might harbor life. And the version of Saturn you're picturing right now, rings intact, glowing in sunlight. It's a phase. A temporary one, on a cosmic timescale measured in the blink of an eye. Every photo we've ever taken of Saturn, every Hubble image, every Cassini close-up, every glance through a backyard telescope, is a photo of a planet caught mid-transformation, wearing the wreckage of something that died, slowly losing it, one ice crystal at a time. In 100 to 300 million years, a future observer, human or otherwise, could look at Saturn and see nothing but a plain, ringless gas giant. No hint that anything was ever there at all. We happen to be here for the part of the story where the rings still exist. We just don't know how close to the ending we actually are. And that's not even the strangest thing happening in Saturn's neighborhood right now. Because one of Saturn's moons, the one quietly feeding material into those very rings, might be hiding something far stranger underneath its ice. That's next. If this changed how you'll look at Saturn forever, hit subscribe. There's a lot more hiding in this solar system than anyone tells you.